You know how some people just get things better? Maybe just work a little bit faster or get things done quicker or maybe even better? I'm here to tell you that it's not because they're more competent or capable or because they're just underlooked geniuses. They actually just have this time of day that they work, and they work so incredibly hard during this time of day. And it's actually the reason why these people outperform 99% of humans on this planet. Now, this time of day that they work, that they structure, they time block into their schedule every day is what's known as deep work. Now, in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how I structure my deep work and how you can structure your deep work to just be an overachiever, to be exceptional at whatever it is that you're doing, to work faster than your peers, and to just simply get more done. And frankly, by the end of this video, you should know exactly how you're going to change your entire life using deep work. Deep work is probably the most crucial and fundamental factor of productivity. I know they don't really seem like they associate with each other that well, but what is productivity? Productivity is just getting things done and being productive. Now, there's a difference between types of productiveness, I guess. Me going to the grocery store or me sitting on my laptop and sending an email to an old friend of mine aren't really productive. I'm getting things done, but productivity to me is getting things done that are crucial to get to the next stage of wherever it is that I'm trying to go. What I want you to do is I want you to ask yourself, what do you want from this life? Is it money? Do you want to retire your parents? Do you want to be able to take vacations whenever you want? Do you want the ability to go to any restaurant in your city and just buy whatever food it is? I want you to ask yourself, what is that end goal? What are you aiming to achieve? And give yourself a time frame in which you're going to do it, or the time frame that you wish that you could achieve this thing. Any task that you do outside of that is not productive work. Now, how do we kind of balance this? How do we work on the things that we need to work on and be productive, but at the same time still have that leniency to being able to do those extra things, but still be a productive person? And this is where we time block and give ourselves a nice section within our day that's known as deep work. So, like I said, within this video, you're going to learn how to structure out your day. You're going to learn the differences between nuisance work and actual deep work. And we're going to figure out just how I changed my life. And I'm going to express to you, and I'm going to show you just how you can change your life with deep work as well. First thing we need to understand is what's the difference between deep work and shallow work? So deep work is when you concentrate intensely on a very specific, maybe even demanding task, where it's seriously just pushing your cognitive skills to their limit. And it feels like they're just going to break. It's the kind of work that just creates real value, real achievement, real success. It's the kind of work that is difficult for anybody else to just replicate. And it's the reason why this type of work ethic, I don't know if it's ethic, but this type of work just helps you surpass so many people, is because it's a really difficult thing to just replicate unless you set up your environment and all of the things that we're going to talk about within this video. Now, on the other hand, what even is shallow work? Shallow work's the exact opposite, and this is what most people do throughout their day. This is work that doesn't necessarily require 100% cognitive focus towards one thing. And as a matter of fact, it's kind of the things that you do when you have music playing in the background. You know what I mean? Whether it's school homework or any repetitive tasks that you have at maybe your job, maybe spreadsheet work. It's literally work that you can do that you've kind of trained to be on autopilot with, because it's easy and it just doesn't really require that distinct focus. Now, here's an example of what would actually require deep work. Maybe you're writing a novel, or maybe you're solving a really complex math problem, or a new software, or you're an engineer and you're trying to work out this new piece of code. You're in a very confined environment where the only thing in this room is you and this task. Shallow work, on the other hand, just as, once again, an example, so you kind of understand, is answering emails or Slack messages, or even scheduling meetings, or filling out forms, or copy and pasting data between different spreadsheets while half watching YouTube. So it's deep work are tasks that absolutely require all of you. Okay. Shallow work, which is what most people do, they're automated tasks that just don't require that much brain. If we look at this on a chart, we see that deep work actually requires full focus. It produces high value. It's very hard to replicate or even automate, and it leads to skill improvement. Shallow work, on the other hand, can literally be done with a ton of distractions. It produces little to no value. It's easy to replicate. And frankly, it doesn't improve your abilities at all. Now, the modern world that we live in today is full of shallow work, but the people who master the deep work are the people that actually stand out. Okay. So like the people that dedicate all of their brain and their cognitive abilities to one task in a day and time that we live in today. As we know, like technology is just becoming more prevalent every single day. And especially with AI, the less people that are actually working, the more distraction that they have, the more valuable like you become. As long as you are like that outlier of somebody who, instead of just falling into the notifications, falling into the shallow work, if you're somebody that kind of like ostracizes yourself or ostracizes all of the noise and the distractions, then you actually become a more valuable person, and then there's less competition. If 90% of the world is distracted because of notifications and social media and shallow work, and you're somebody who's not distracted by notifications, you're not distracted by all of this shallow work, it's almost creating like a to not do list opposed to like a to-do list. Like some people will give themselves like a to-do list, right? These are things that they need to do every single day, or these are the things that they need to do today. They have this list. The problem with that is they can do that list, but they don't have anything that's like to not do. And honestly, if you just got rid of all of the things to not do, and like you made that your to-do list, it's like a to not do list, and you just didn't do these things, then you would just perform better. You would just get more things done. It's like the opposite of how most people structure their day with like a to-do list. And it's like you just simply don't do these things and you'll just be a better performer. And deep work matters because if you want to accomplish something that just requires a strong cognitive ability to just get something done, it has nothing to do with like how smart you are. It has nothing to do with how fast you are at, problem solving. It has nothing to do with like your coding experience, because at the end of the day, like we have social media, and I'm not saying like don't use, search engines. I'm not saying don't use ChatGPT. I'm not saying don't use AI. What I'm saying is like if you can focus this energy on using these tools to your advantage opposed to these tools using you to their advantage, then you're on the opposite side of the spectrum who's utilizing these tools that can literally synthesize info in a matter of seconds. Like I said, with deep focus, you can achieve something in 10 minutes opposed to somebody who's living in like this distracted world. It would take them maybe hours to achieve. And I could share 1.5 million like personal stories on just like how deep work has like changed my life, but I actually want to go into like my routine. One thing I can say, like to just kind of give you an understanding, is like I spent all of high school doing shallow work. I think we all did, to sit down and just focus on one thing. And honestly, I'm somebody with like incredibly bad ADHD, and I constantly need to be moving, and I constantly need to be biting my nails or just doing something that I shouldn't be doing. And this took time for me to rewire my brain to understand that I have these goals. I see myself in this certain position at a certain age, which leaves me with not much of an option. If I want to get to these goals, I don't really have the option to patronize myself with shallow work. I literally need to avoid the shallow work and focus on the deep work if I want to get to these goals. And so this is something that I set out to do. And like I said, with ADHD, it's difficult. But over enough time of training and perfecting the art of deep work, your body will actually become accustomed to it at a certain time, during a certain period. And there's some things that we're going to talk about in this video that actually allow you to bring that essence into the room or into your brain whenever it's needed, and you can just focus on getting more things done a whole lot faster. Now, let's talk about like my deep work system. So first and foremost, I schedule every single one of my deep work sessions using this tool called Amy and Notion. And maybe you've heard me talk about it in another video before, but a lot of people just use like Apple Calendar. A lot of people just use like regular calendars, and by all means, like those work completely fine. What Amy allows me to do is it allows me to dump a ton of projects into Notion. You're able to dump all of the things that you have to do throughout a day or throughout a week or throughout a month. You could be 6 months out, it doesn't matter. And then through Notion, you can pretty much tag them with your priority and click a button, and it's going to send all of those tasks over to Amy. Now, Amy is actually a time blocking productivity calendar where as soon as all those tasks come into Amy's going to look at the schedule that you've already pre-programmed inside of it, and it's going to dump all of those tasks onto your calendar in a certain time that you have structured for yourself. So like for me, for an example, I work from 5 a.m. to about 5 p.m. every single day. So these are my deep work sessions. So all the tasks that come in from Notion immediately go straight into my Amy, and then those are my schedule. Now, on the weekends, it's a little bit different. I work a little bit more hours on the weekend. The reason why I only work till 5 is because that's when I go to the gym, and then by the time I get home from the gym, it's like 8-ish, and then I pretty much just do some kind of research or learning, whether that's read a book or watch some YouTube videos on a specific topic, and then I head to bed, and then I rinse and repeat. So I schedule all of the things that I need to do through Amy and through Notion. Now, the next thing that I like to do is I prepare for my deep work. I set clear goals, and I minimize all of the distractions that I could possibly get distracted by. All of the people in my life know that I work from a certain time in the morning and the exact time that I get off. So they know not to text me, not to call me. I've made it an effort to reach out to everybody in my life and let them know, like, I know I don't necessarily work a traditional job, but if I was at a traditional job, you wouldn't be able to contact me. You wouldn't be able to communicate with me if I was working. And so I want you to treat me that way when I'm at home in my office during these times. And so everybody in my life knows that from 5 a.m. to 5 p.m., this is me time. All my business partners, all my colleagues, everybody that I work with know they should not expect a response from me within this time frame. And so I've set this up. I pre-strategized with very clear goals on these are the things that I need to do in order to get to the point that I want to get. Now, the next thing I do, and it came from a book that I actually read, was called Organize Tomorrow Today. What it is like the entire book is just like how you plan out the things that you need to do. Imagine you go to sit down, you're about to do your deep work, but you don't have anything to do, or you don't know what you need to do. So you spend your 5 hours of deep work trying to figure out what to do. So then by the time your deep work time ends, distractions start flooding in. And now this is the time that you're supposed to be getting all your things done. But now it's going to even be more difficult to just get the things done because now you have all the distractions. So this book pretty much just talks about like how you structure out the things that you need to do near the end of the day. Or you can do it early in the morning. It's pretty much just structure out all of the things that you need to do the next day. And making sure that like today, I'm going to write down all of the things that I need to do tomorrow when I wake up. And the reason being is because as soon as I sit down at the desk tomorrow, I immediately have the things that I need to be working on in my Notion and ready for me to go. The next thing is just focus. And this is coming from somebody who has like really bad ADHD. And it's not that you can't focus, it's that you have so many distractions in your life. And I think Alex Hormozy does a really good point of opening this is like where he works, he doesn't have windows. He doesn't have anything in his office that could possibly distract him. So the point isn't to like train your mind to sit and focus, but it's to remove anything that could take your focus, anything that could possibly distract you. There's things that I do that I just simply set up that allow me to not regain focus, but to have never lost my focus to begin with. Now, the next thing I like to do always, and through Amy, I'm able to do this, and this almost like sounds like a promo for this fucking calendar. One of the things that I like to do is I reflect and track all my hours and everything that I've ever done through Amy after I schedule everything through Notion and it comes into my Amy. I have a log for like months and months and months of every single thing that I've ever done. And all this does is it just gives me a sense of like winnership. And there is this other article and research and study called the winner effect, where the winner effect is just like retrospectively analyzing all of the wins that you have and using those wins as like a compounding effect for boosted confidence, boosted, like it's funny, like testosterone. It boosts your capabilities. One of the studies was somebody who won like their first fight would on average go on to win more fights, opposed to the person who lost their first fight would go on to lose majority of their fights. Now, when they were then introduced into each other to fight on a clean slate with their record being like wiped, the person who was actually had the tendency for losing ended up being the person who won, the person that had the tendency for winning. And it's because it had nothing to do with their level of strength or capabilities or anything, it had everything to do with how they felt about themselves. And so the person who was losing was actually like the better fighter, the stronger, more capable fighter. And the person who was winning was actually just more confident in winning, so he was winning more. But then when you removed their record, and they didn't have anything to retrospectively analyze to give them like that boost of confidence and competency, then vice versa happened. So what really like the point is like when you track and log everything you do in retrospect, it gives you confidence. It gives you a reason to keep moving. It gives you a newfound confidence every morning to just get the next thing done. So I always like to reflect and I always like to just track. Now, the next one is I keep a very, very, very strict schedule. Like I talked about earlier, 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. Now, the things that I've done to like kind of lock my brain in is I listen to the same, I know this is going to sound insane. I listen to the same song every single day on repeat. Now, it's not like your traditional song, like some Taylor Swift or whatever, that's like singing and lyrics. I haven't listened to any music that has lyrics in it in years. The song that I listen to is called Gangster's Paradise by Lo-Fi Fruits. I don't even know what the actual song sounds like, but Lo-Fi Fruits on Spotify just makes lo-fi songs. That's all it does, and it takes real-world songs and turns them into lo-fi. So there's no lyrics, there's no nothing, and I listen to this same song every day on repeat, no matter what. Because the point is, I'm not trying to be entertained by the song. The point is, I've trained my mind that as soon as that song comes on, I get in a real grumpy mood, and all I want to do is sit down and just get the things that I need to get done. The next thing I like to do is light a candle. Pretty much just bring the sense into the room that it is now time for deep work. I lower my curtains, I turn off all the lights, I dim my computer screen just a little bit, I put on a nice outfit. I always dress up. The reason why I like to dress up is like, if I was going to a corporate job, I'd be dressing up and looking nice. And I kind of want to like separate household and office work. Even though I literally work in my apartment, it's like, if I get up and I get dressed and I feel good, I feel like I'm going out to the job, I feel like I'm going out to get work done. Pretty much just bringing the sense into my life that you are getting ready to start a deep work. Now, here are some actual practical tips to get started. I don't want to sit here and say that you need to work from 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. every day. This is something that has taken me years to rewire and restructure my brain into being able to do. Like I said, and I keep saying this, I have really, really bad ADHD, and the doctors want me on, Adderall and Ritalin, and I'm not taking those drugs because frankly, you don't need those drugs if you just spend time with your own brain. You ask your brain what you like, what you don't like, what are some things that are just distracting you. You just become like aware of your surroundings and like removing all of those things. It doesn't mean that you're going to be perfect, but here's some actual practical steps for you to get started in deep work, in getting things done faster. So number one is just simply reduce some distractions. Spend today or spend tomorrow identifying all the things that distract you, whether it's your mom, whether it's your sister, whether it's your phone, whether it's video games. Identify the things that distract you. And if you would, for me, write down on a piece of paper or on your notes, wherever you want, how many hours or how long, how many minutes, how many hours that this distraction took from you. One of the things that I found myself is when I was living with a bunch of boys is at night, come nighttime, from like 7 to 11, we would sit and just talk. Oh my God. That is hours upon hours every single day, compounded over months. That time could have been better used either sleeping and being more energized for the next day or just simply getting things done. Now, video games have never really been an issue for me, but I know video games are an issue for some people. And so how many hours do you spend playing video games? Track how much YouTube you find yourself watching and simply just start to reduce them. And you can do this through like your iPhone settings. And one of the settings that I did use, I don't use it now, but it is a setting that I know helps some people, is you can turn your phone on black and white mode. And all it does, it just removes the colors. The benefit to this is you don't have the stimuli coming from all of the colors on your phone that actually increases your dopamine, which is dopamine detoxes for another completely different video. But other than that, what I want you to do is just track the things that distract you and then work on just slightly reducing them more and more every single day. And then what I want you to do is start focusing on batching together all of the shallow tasks that you need to do, whether that's emails or text messages or Slack messages, whatever it may be. Find a time, whether it's Monday. Typically my day for shallow tasks are Monday. Monday are when I allow people to meet with me. Monday is when I allow people to contact me about any question that they may have. Monday is my day to just batch all of my shallow tasks together so that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday specifically, Saturday and Sunday, I have all day just to me, and it's my time, and it's only for me, and it's only for me to get things done. Now, like I said, start small and increase this over time. Increase the things that are distracting you. If you play video games for like 5 hours a night, I know it's easy to even play 10 hours. What I'm telling you right now, picture your end goal that we talked about in the beginning of the video. Picture that end goal and stop. Just cut it down to 5 hours and then 2 hours and then 1 hour. Just over time, just slowly start to decrease all of the things that you have that are distracting in your life. Now, next thing I want you to do is just set up some kind of ritual to start and end deep work. Whether it's 1 hour, whether it's 2 hours or 3 hours, it doesn't matter. Just any level of deep work so you can start getting your body like in rhythm to it. What I do know is some of you are going to just completely struggle to focus. What I want you to do is simply take a stopwatch, seriously, on your phone or on your computer, and I want you to turn this stopwatch on. and I want you to just work. And I want you to see that the time is ticking while you're working. And all it's going to do is it's just going to help trans you into whatever it is that you're working. The next thing I know is like a lot of you guys are going to, demotivated. What I want you to do with that is kind of do some research on the winner effect. And as a matter of fact, I'll leave that resource down in the description below where you can read about the winner effect and use this as a fuel for your motivation. Now, when it comes to like interruptions and like just setbacks in general, I want you to simply just alert anybody in your life that you are starting this new challenge where you want to have 2 to 3 hours that are specifically for you. And within this time, this is for you to build the dream life that you have once always wanted. Now, there are some limits to the deep work and some real expectations that you can set for yourself, or like 2 to 4 hours a day. Honestly, I don't know many people in my life that have the capability to sit and deep work on something for more than 2 hours, and especially not on like that higher edge of 4 hours. So set yourself realistic expectations. 1 hour, 2 hour, you start pushing that 4 hour and your brain starts getting tired, you start feeling a little groggy. Okay, I want you to know that you need to set realistic expectations for this entire thing and understand that if you get 1 or 2 hours worth of deep work in, that's more than 99% of people do at all. Now, I'm hoping that this kind of helps. I'm hoping that you guys fully understand the importance of deep work, and I'm hoping you understand that deep work is the difference between monumentally achieving and not achieving at all. And like I said, at this entire video, I want you to keep your eyes, your mind, everything just on topic with that dream life that you've created for yourself. Whether it's a family, whether it's retiring your family, whether it's spending more time with them, whether it's traveling, whether it's food, whatever it may be, I want you to keep your entire focus on that end goal. There's going to be a resource down in the description below that kind of covers the things that we talked about today. Alongside that, some extra things that you can do to just help better your focus. Alongside that, like I told you, I'm also going to drop the winner effect down below as well. So there might be 2 resources. I might try to figure out how to combine it into one. But other than that, hope you guys have a good day, and I'll see you in the next video.